All right, hello, hello, hello. How's everyone this morning? If you guys want to see something really, really funny, go check out. God, I got something all over the boys past fire. Go look at the meme channel. As I was going to log in, um, as I was going to log in, there was the I saw that was the I don't know if it was the sponsored or whatever the heck you want to call it, featured channel or whatever it was. But I was like, holy crap, what is this analysis? This is insane. So yeah, I was like, oh my god, I gotta post this. This is hysterical. Charting gone wrong. Um Whoops. Nope, go back. There we go. No, I don't need the IG menu. Just trying to reset the top. Yeah, I'm still laughing about it. I had to show Melissa. I was like, oh my god, look at this. Look at this. This is hysterical. Um so yeah. Anyway, refusal to buy Russian gas removals could lead to a crisis. Yeah. Um, Honestly, the markets are like super dead. I haven't looked at it in the last 5 minutes. Natural gas is one of the biggest movers out there, but currency wise, it's dead. There's actually an article down here that like the markets are here. Markets turn cautious ahead of weekend. Um, basically that you know euro was flat. Hang Seng fell a little tiny bit, right? But a lot of the benchmarks was just flat, 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 flat. Japan equaled out a small gain. Most other major, major areas were lower. Hang Seng fell, but virtually flat for the week. Euro flat for the week. So kind of like I joked to Todd. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like a wait and see attitude, right? There's no headlines, right? Everybody's on like trading crack, right? We got headlines for 3 weeks of the Ukraine. It's like it, it's really really hard to find anything. I scrolled here and I looked down again, and you know nothing, 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 nothing. You know, Here's an interesting one from the IMF: the stealth erosion of U.S. dollar dominance. Right, that's definitely something that we've been talking about. This was a funny article, and if you guys want some comedy, the FBI is it this one? Oh no, here I'll just do it on this one. Where is it? Where is it? The FBI is trolling. Here you go. The FBI is trolling the Russian embassy with geo-targeted ads for disgruntled spies. So basically, if you read it, it says people standing in close proximity to the Russian embassy in Washington D.C. can see ads in Russian, which appear in Russian, on Facebook, Twitter, and Google. So when you are close to the Russian embassy, you'll get ads in Russian talking about being disgruntled. If you're mad about the unprovoked, you should talk to us. Call the FBI at. So yeah, they're trolling. Gotta love geo-targeted ads. We're close to the Russian embassy. We're gonna you're gonna get nothing but Facebook ads. Again, it's scary. It just shows you what the type of manipulation we get with social media. But how funny is that, right? I love it. You're near the Russian embassy. You're gonna get ads about leaving and jumping ship. So, not that I think that they allow. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. I feel like they would have blockers in some of these things, right? In the embassies. Maybe I've watched too many spy movies, but I feel like Russia would block, U.S., controlled Facebook or something, right? Facebook ads. Yeah. What does spy warfare look like in 2022? Oh, we have geo target ads if you're close to the embassy. So yeah, that was my laugh for the morning. I thought that was pretty funny. Um, Besides that, not a whole lot. Obviously, the EU gas deal. It's kind of more of a farce than anything else. You know, it's another headline for Biden to be like, "Yeah, look at this. We're gonna give them gas. Great. We can't produce any more gas. For us to give it to Europe, we have to rob Peter to pay Paul." And is another poor nation going to get raked over the coals because Europe wants it because the gas prices are so high? I mean, it's capitalism. It's capitalism, but it's still kind of crappy when you take a third world country that probably can't afford it anyway, and now we're going to take it for them and we're going to give it to rich people in Europe. I don't know. I feel like I do have some issues with that. I feel like this is the opportunity for them to seize renewables. And the thing is, it's not like natural gas cars are a new thing, right? I mean, many of the major cities they only use natural gas buses. Couldn't we just do something to where you could, basically say we don't need your oil. We're gonna, use, gasoline as the main driver. Couldn't we just? I don't know. I feel like with the $1 billion support that we're setting in weapons, could we just turn them into, I don't know. I feel like they're. I don't know. I feel like we could invest that money into renewables, and they could be clear even earlier than that. But I guess at the end of the day, um, we don't want them completely energy. independent because then they're not going to buy it from the United States either, and that's lost profit if we can't sell it to them. So, um, but yeah, where the heck is it? I had I don't know. Did I leave it up on this chart? Oh yeah. The original, if you guys are looking for the article, the original article is. No, I can't get it on there. There we go. Right here, that they strike a deal, and it's interesting. They're like, look, LG plants are already producing at full capacity, and analysts say that any additional gas would have to come from somewhere else, right? And already high European gas prices would have to rise further to attract those cargoes, right? Natural gas is under contract and cannot be easily redirected. So you're going to have to break contract. So again, what are we doing? We're hurting relations because we're trying to break contract to send it over there. Um, I think this is great knowledge too. It typically takes 2 to 3 years to build a new production facility. So the deal may be more about redirection. May not be. It says so. This deal may be more about the redirection of existing supplies than new capacity. So again, it's not a quick fix. Um, I love this. We didn't specify the amount that we're going to give, but even if we could create the 15, I love this. Even if we could do it, right? Even if it was achievable that we could give them the 15, right? If we could, if we could supply them, if we could, right? We said we can't, but even if we could, it still falls short of replacing Russian gas imports, which amount to 155. So we're trying to say here's 10%. So is this any more than a headline? I'm going to go with no, right? No. Right. We're going to provide you with 10% and that will give us a headline. But does it really change anything? We have to rob Peter to pay Paul to give them less than 10% from what they get from Russia. Yeah. I wonder where, yeah, bad taste in my mouth. So, besides that, nothing really else out of the news this morning. Bad retail sales. Again, price pressure, they said, is the main source of it. Again, when things get too expensive, it's not about supply, it's about the price. So, yeah. Um, German business client. I actually thought this would be high. I'm kind of surprised it's low, but then at the same time, I'm not. Um, Again, this is business climate is always a weird one. It's kind of like, well, how do you feel business going in the future is going to be? This there could be a lot about this one. Again, is Russia going to cut off their energy supplies? That always affects things. Is inflation going to get even worse? That affects things. So hard number to kind of predict. Not a huge mover. Again, technically, it's really really negative, and yet euro dollar is still up and euro pound is still up. So, eh, eh, is what it is. We're gonna get Verizon University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Not really gonna be a big mover for today, but for the most part, things are pretty crazy. Obviously, going into Saturday, we got no planned. Sunday, no planned, and then Monday we have Bailey speaking at 7 a.m. Um, Bailey is due to speak about macroeconomics and financial stability in an online event. So, is it going to be specific UK based data? Nah, probably not. But could we get something on a Monday that really has? I mean, here, I'll show you guys. Look, I have everything checked, minus the low impact, everything checked. And Monday, we have one speech. So could we potentially get something out of it? Maybe. Is it going to be like some type of earth shattering? I don't know. Epiphany? No, I don't think so. So we'll see. It's kind of, we're going short. And then obviously Yellen had her comments earlier today. If you didn't see those, Yellen's like, yeah, now's not the appropriate time to sanction China. And again, we already have a rocky relationship with tariffs and everything else there. We start sanctioning China, like that is basically like the nail in the coffin, um, to further solidify their Russian and India now, um, their kind of agreement with things. So yeah, yeah. But again, it's funny. You look at her picture. This looks like if she was like a third grade teacher, right? Everybody else has these like really, really serious and they're really, really sharp, right? They're really sharp pictures. She has a grainy photo, right? A grainy photo that looks like it was taken from like a third grade elementary school, class shoot, right? Doesn't it look like that? Like, oh, you know what? There's this little picture of her. Let's do it, and now it's going to be grainy because we've made the picture way too big. So yeah, I feel like this is like this is a picture from 1982 when she was a third grade teacher or something. I love the photos in here. So a couple of things you mentioned about though, it's conceivable oil prices could go higher. Obviously, the situation will reduce prospects of global growth. Yeah, again, oil. We know all this. Sanctions to degrade Russia economy for a long time. maybe, but we're hearing now that the economy was not as big as we thought. Um, I feel like Russia is very, very good at making themselves seem. I don't know. Maybe it's not Russia. Maybe it's us. I mean, in the Cold War, when there was finally like the dropping of the walls and the agreements to destroy nuclear weapons, there was a number of different articles that talked about how we had far overestimated Russia's capabilities. The amount of missiles they had and subs and troops and all this, we had far overestimated. Now, was that our military being cautious, trying to get more spending because we were like 100 times bigger than they were? Was it they were, did Russia do a really, really good job of faking us out? Like, are we incapable of getting true details, or did we just kind of overestimate so we could make lots more? And again, you guys know how much money's in that industry. I don't know. Kind of the same thing now. Like a lot of people are surprised that the war in the Ukraine is not over, that Russia didn't just storm through. Like, did we overestimate their capabilities? Again, same thing. We're going to degrade their economy. I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Like, they obviously expected something was going to happen. They're not stupid. Is it a lot smaller than what we thought? Right. We know what they sell externally, but did we really understand the true Russian? And again, it's the same thing. Does anybody actually believe any of the economic news releases that come out of China? Not really, right? You always got to take them with a grain of salt. Like, is this the true data? Are they hiding it? Were they, I think it goes back to the same thing. Um, I love this one. There is some chance that sanctions will affect Putin's decisions in the future. The level of confidence that Yellen is exuding here is just absolutely amazing, right? Um, there's some chance that it will keep him from doing something in the future. Like, wow, okay, go Yellen. Maybe this will stop him. So I don't know. And then I love this one right here. The comments are my favorite. We cannot sanction China as we help them to slowly become a dominant economic and superpower, which can be backfired and we become irrelevant. We are fully dependent on China and their manufacturing, which is really true, right? Again, we kind of need that. This guy, I'm not going to show you what he says. Indoskan, he's kind of very. I believe Indoskan. It says Saxa Bank, but I'm pretty sure that this guy's Russian. He just made some comments on other things, but the rest of the world should put sanctions on us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He said, on your see on your debts. I'm pretty sure this guy's Russian. But with this, online attic is saying is true. We are very dominant. We are very dependent right now on China and their manufacturing. They hold a lot of our debt. They could really mess if they really wanted to. They could really mess with the debt on with the amount of debt that they hold. They could really start selling a lot of stuff and really screw things up. And they've already said that they want to take over as the global power. So I mean, there's no candy coating what China wants to do and has the ability to do. Um, so, but yeah, I love that. Her confidence is amazing. Maybe there's a chance that the sanctions will work. Go Yellen, go Yellen. So, yeah, it is what it is. Um, yeah, you can't underestimate a crazy. You're right, Ernest. I mean, I work for a Russian, and the way that he used to think about things was unbelievable. Right? We had the biggest month in sales that he had ever had in his life, and he wanted to change the compensation because he said the employees were getting paid too much. I was like, "But you just got paid too much. What are you talking about? Your center never made this much money ever, and you want to pay the employees less because we had an employee that made like 23,000 that month, and This is sorry. He goes, yeah, he's not going to work hard next month. I'm like, are you insane? Like, do you understand how Americans work? He took that 23,000. He's already spent it. He's going to need that much money next month just to pay for the stuff that he spent this month. Like Americans, we always do it the other way. Like, it's not like we get a payday and we don't spend it. This is why most people that win the lottery are broke within a year, right? We spend way beyond. It's like I made 23 grand. Great, I'm going to buy all these things, and next month I'm going to need to pay for them all again, right? So it was pretty funny, but yeah, he just thought about the way that he thought about things was just entirely different. It's like, wow, you don't reward productivity. It's like, oh, you're going to get too cushy. You're not going to work hard this month. You're going to take it easy. It's like, I was like, that'd be like saying like I had the best drug high ever, but I'm not gonna do it this month because it was so good last month. I'm like, do you understand how addiction works? Money's pretty addicting. Um, but yeah, totally different way of thinking. Yeah, glad that I do not work for that guy. It was an experience. I can say that I took it. I learned. Um, yeah, I was warned, and I thought things would be differently, and I thought I could make an impact, and I did for a lot of people. But whew, yeah, I was like, wow. And the crazy thing is too, the guy had some parts that he was really really good at. Like if you were in with this guy, he took care of you, right? He took care of his people, right? So he was very definitely family oriented. Again, I don't want to say materialistic, but again, the guy. I mean, the guy did take good care of me. But if you weren't like in his kind of inner circle, you were just it was crazy. You were like the enemy. And again, I don't know if Italia was just the culture was totally different. But again, the guy would invite me over to his house, make me dinner when I was down there. I mean, great. The treatment he gave me was great. The treatment he gave other people, not so great. And then eventually, it's like once you become, it's like, oh, I don't need you anymore. Okay. And I was like, all right, I'm out. See, I can't handle the crazy. So yeah, and Putin, I think is the same way. So it's I feel like it's just I know people from Yugoslavia and the Ukraine and things like that, and they just have a different way of looking at things. So yeah, who knows? So anyway, market wise, um, Nacho Gas is coming off that top. I'm going to start with the VIX. The VIX is now red, but it's 0.00. I talked about with Todd earlier. I'm like, look at this. It's never zero. It was zero. And now it's kind of going back down again. So it's odd. There's no headlines. There's just no catalyst today. It's like the market's, it's doing it's catnip in it today, right? It's just sleeping, right? Even the dollar, dollar's down a little bit, right? And it looks, when I stretch it out, it's like, oh look, there's plenty of dollar movement. But the reality is, it's kind of more like this. We're still kind of stuck in the same, I just extending this across from the high from we had before. I mean, that's what we bounced off of. We've been unable. We're literally channeling, and if you look right where the 50 is, right, I'll put it horizontal, right, kind of at the middle of the channel. We're kind of right there right now. We're falling back to it right now at 98.50. So kind of like a slow movement, right? Going to currencies, you can see right now, Aussie dollar, it's up 0.11, right? Talked about this kind of pop off of it yesterday. We had a level of basing, and again, we hit it once, we hit it again, we hit it again, and then it's kind of like, well, and then it became, kind of the bottom here, bottom here, bottom here, and we're going a little bit higher. So, um, Aussie dollar, I would say, is kind of at a peak. You can see that it's definitely having some issues with some sellers. I don't think we drew anything on a 4 hour. Might as well do that going into the weekend. Yeah, there we go. We had a level here from way back when, but we don't need it now. Again, we're gonna do this off a 4 hour. We know we got higher levels too. Might as well drag these across. Is that a fresh level? Yeah, it's a fine level. Those aren't the best though. All right, so let's see. Bam, bam, and bam. Right. So these are all 4 hour levels sitting up top. Now let's see how big is this. Let's drop it back down to a 30-minute. Yeah, this is a 12 pip 4 hour level. So I would say with this grinding, it keeps pushing, pushing, pushing. Some of this may have to do with gold. Gold is down a little bit today, and again, it's probably why we're not back at the peak. But I would say I'm kind of in the mindset now. Aussie dollar. I'm looking to go into Sunday probably with a short position. Um, we know we have three levels here. The top one is a little bit far. That's about 50 pips. Maybe we can try to get up, depending on what we do. Any type of a gap higher, I'd be looking for a kind of a weekly based position to the downside on Sunday night. Why? I think we have some dollar strength coming back in. I mean, at this point, it's great that we got a lot of these headlines. We're not really seeing any more than that. Every week that rolls forward, we're getting closer to that next interest rate hike, and we've had a couple days where we haven't talked about people going farther. I think we're going to start hearing about it. I think when we go to the next week, I think we're going to start hearing more about the point 0.5. I think that's what I think they've softened us to the idea of a point 0.5, but I think the point 0.5 is coming. So, um, yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can say. I think we look to get short. A gap in either of these levels, I think, is a good short. We are at an area, and again, take this base here, right? We'll move over on the side. You can see it encompassed, encompassed, encompassed. A break of this, could we get it down? Sure, and that would probably be a run back down. So, I mean, if we collapse today, could we go to 74.74? Sure, we could. But I think right now, the 74.74 level, this kind of this basing level here, I think this is the one side of our channel. And again, the question is it going to be one of these two up top? So you know, this, and by the way, people will say, well, why don't you just short from here? I mean, you could if you're really looking for a position. Yeah, you could take a short from here. I mean, the 9:30 opening candle, it hit it. I just don't like. I like it the other way around. In this case, if the green candle had the higher wick than the red, I would have liked it a lot more and said, yeah, it's a decent short. Um, I don't like when the high win is the last one. I like when the high win is in the other position. Same thing on the bottom. I like this is a better scenario for me. I like when the red one is the deep one, and then the next one is higher. It's a higher wick. I like the ascending wicks, just like I like the descending. This is the exact opposite of them. So, but right now, again in 24 hours, the Aussie dollar's moved 21 pips high. Yeah, a little bit, but we're running in the sellers up top, and we have a 4 hour level sitting right above. So I would say look for short opportunities in the Aussie. Aussie yen also back up to the same level where we had sellers. Now, also yen, I mentioned, we were looking for some type of reversal with the yen. They're, Kuroda is really, really trying to get this one to be as weak as possible. So, really, since the European Open, this 4:30. I mean, I guess the 3 o'clock candle was here, right? We came back down and we grabbed some buyers in here, and they were there. It drove deeper. I don't think this zone will hold again, but kind of the same thinking. Again, it's pushing higher. U.S. data's in. This is a lot. There'll be some profit taking. They're really trying to, his comments today. Where is it? Right here. Right. He's watching the FX moves carefully, right? Don't think weak yen reflects, eroding market trust in the yen. Um, it's only monetary policy. This is all funny, right? A weaker yen is still beneficial to Japan's economy. Yes, a weaker yen is what drives their economy. They don't intervene on the downside; they intervene on the upside when it gets too strong because people stop buying from them, and they're an export country. So, um, they fail to intervene with yields hitting 6 year highs. So, yeah, I'm not as concerned about it. If they did intervene, if it's too weak and they intervene, it goes down, right? We already know that the Aussie versus the dollar is high. We know versus the yen, they're saying, well, it's too weak. You need to intervene. You need to make it stronger. Okay, that brings us to the down. So all things right now with the yen are showing that listen, we're trying to find some strength, any type of strength we possibly can. Tack that with the Aussie strength. I think we look for reversals. So if you're looking for something today, this one may or may not hold. Right now, this is obviously being driven by the yen and the overall indices, but you know, it's not a horrible session opening kind of push up into that zone. It's very, very tiny risk. I mean, it's about 12 pips, so you know, it's Friday. It's Friday. You could shrink this a little bit more if you wanted to up to that level. So if you haven't gotten entered in, this one drops this one even lower. I mean, if now it's 10 pips. If this was Sunday night, I definitely think this would be an awesome, awesome trade to take. So, also yen wise, I'd say, again, if you're looking for something, if you're going to trade on a Friday where there's like almost no news or catalyst, 91.91 would be kind of where it is if you didn't already get into the position. If you use the actual bottom of the bodies right here, and again, the bottom of the bodies coincide with the big push as well as the test, you may or may not have gotten in depending on your broker. Okay. It would look something along these lines. Oh crap! I didn't want to move that one. 1, 2, 3 is right there. So perfectly fine. Think there would be any benefit to buying some Amazon before the split? The problem is everybody knows the split's already in, so a lot of the price action hipster has already been put in. Um, is there going to be some movement probably afterwards? Probably. There'll be some, right? There'll be some. But the reality is, once you hear about it, you have that initial kind of response as people react. Now the price is already factored in. So there'll be a little bit of action. What I would do is kind of see, really kind of what the stabilization looks, right? After the official, I guess it's not a split, right? Isn't it the opposite way? Isn't it kind of a split to suck it back in? Um, like it's a one for what, a 20 for one or something like that. I don't watch Amazon stock that much. I think Amazon's a great company. I think Amazon will continue to excel. Long term wise, if you're looking for something to add to a portfolio, I definitely think Amazon is one of those things in there. As far as a day trading investment, though, whenever you mess with splits, a lot of times after the split is announced, you have all the price action you're going to see, and then it's kind of after that, then it's already in. So, if you're holding this, depending on the style of trader you are, portfolio wise, I think Amazon's a great stock to have in a portfolio, especially if you know how to trade options. And actually, this is one of those stocks where I would say, um, if you understand how to hedge positions with traditional options, it's actually something that holding the stock would not be bad, and then use options to generate additional premium off of it. Bank that premium. If it goes high, you bank your profits and then buy some more. Right? You could literally can play both sides: covered calls and then cash secured puts. And I think it's a great thing that you want to keep in your portfolio at all times. So that way, If you know you're using cash secured puts, you're acquiring the position. If you don't acquire, if it goes higher, you're still making money, right? Once you acquire it, then you do the same thing. You write calls against it. If you lose the calls, guess what? You've also banked profit off of it. If it just holds or maintains, again, they're not taking it from you. You're getting the premium off of it. So, um, kind of like a almost one of those ways that it's hard to lose. Um, I have 50K. I was going to buy Tesla or Amazon stocks. I wouldn't. I mean, if you have 50, don't put it all in one thing, obviously. But I, me personally, if you told me that you wanted to take a position on between one of those two, again, not a recommendation. I don't give recommendations live on the channel. My personal opinion is I like Amazon better. Um, I think Tesla has a lot of inherent problems. Right? It's a crowded industry. Um, Amazon is a proven model. Like, how do you stop Amazon? We have another pandemic. Amazon, right? Amazon flourished in that environment. Um, I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, everybody relies on Amazon. It's one of those things. It's like, oh, I hate Amazon. Amazon, he's a genius. Right? Say what you want, but it's an amazing model, right? You have Prime. Now you have Prime going to other things, right? I actually use my Prime movies sometimes, but I love Amazon. It's like, do I need something? I mean, if I can get it in a day, I'm not going to a store, right? I don't want to deal with people. I mean, there's emergencies where I have to run to like Home Depot or something, but why would you? I mean, if I can get it delivered, I mean, my wife got a mat delivered yesterday actually for the house, right, for the back door because the kids track mud in all the time. She got it off Amazon. I'm like, what the heck is this gigantic box here? She got the mat with free shipping, cheaper than what I could have got it at Home Depot. So it's like, okay, we had to wait an extra day for it. So what? Why would you not use Amazon? So it's a good model. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So I like it better than Tesla. I think Tesla has too many. You know, I think it's a safer bet than Tesla, for lack of a better word. All right, you're a pound. So you're a pound. We peaked a little bit higher. We talked about that level here, and again, it came up and actually grabbed this. It didn't actually make it to the 50, unfortunately. Came up, grabbed it, came back down, and now we're pulling back again. So again, we're seeing a little bit more movement. Again, with the natural gas deal, it came down. The data we had today, I actually think is pretty good. I mean, having deals where we're trying to make Europe less energy dependent. Technically, I mean, it on a fundamental basis, it is actually strong for Europe, right? Because I mean, right now, if I mean, again, Putin doesn't have to push the nuke button, right? He can just literally say, well, you know what? We're not sending you guys are gonna we're not gonna sell you guys natural gas anymore. It hurts them, but it also crushes Europe. And if you think about what the European economy looks like without any type of form of energy, I mean, yeah, it hurts Russia, but you know, when you can't run anything in Europe, it really, really hurts the European Union. So there are other people that buy Russian oil, right? And Russian energy. It's not the other way around is like, hey, listen, if only 50% of the population has energy, that's a big deal, right? So yeah, Russia sends a lot of stuff everywhere. So I like this one. I want to see where we kind of roll into the weekend. Again, we saw a lot of sellers in this area, and that's what we hit. So it was a decent trade in the overnight. It moved 28 pips if you ran it all the way down. So at an extreme level, you're good. Levels that I'm looking for, and again, we talked about the 3660, and it did. It pushed all the way back down to this level. 8408 is the next level. If we can, potentially grind up to there, I would say there's two things. One, the level that we just ran off of again, again, it's been hit a bunch, right? It's been hit again. There is the 50 right above it, so there may be a bit of a trap in there, but I think if we can get through, again, a decent level of basing, I think there's actually opportunity in here to break through the 80, what is it, 83.75 if we push up and then come back down again. I think is kind of an area that I'm looking for. It's two separate trade setups. Um, but yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, that's the range that we're dealing with, right? Slow retrace up, and again, hit the same thing, ran it down. That would be the next untested level, 8408. So capitalism, yeah, right? There's a lot of regular folks selling on Amazon. Why wouldn't anyone support that? It's baffling. Yeah, yeah, true, true. Yeah, if they would just, it is amazing. But I will say, Ernest, it's kind of like eBay, right? Like Amazon is a great place, but like you do have to be careful. It used to be that you could just get the cheapest thing always on Amazon. Now because there's so many private sellers, you do have to be a little bit more cautious, what you're buying, because sometimes it can be more expensive than what you can get it locally. So you do it's like eBay. eBay when it first came out was great, and then it got not so great. And there are still people that do good things on it, but for the most part, eBay has turned into, in my eyes, like eBay is just turned into junk at this point. So most of the stuff you get on there, it's not it's not good. I mean, there's still obviously some good people there, but when you look for something on there, you're like, nah, it's not worth it. I'll just go find something on Amazon, right? Euro yen. So euro yen, we're looking to see if we are going to get a pullback from that level at 134, right? It didn't. It slowed it down a little bit, and then again the same thing. It ended up slicing through and then using that level, and then came through, and now it's becoming a level of stabilization, and we're going off of it again. So it's a level that we're going to mark. We're actually, and it's funny. It's this same level of basing, which caused all the problems here. It based in there. We're like, yep, it's going to break. It ended up pushing through, but then it became the same level. Base here, base down, based in again, came through, based in again, based in again. So of the two, I'm going to say that the bottom one is probably more powerful at this point. It's definitely, again, one, two, three, four is what broke. One, two, and we're coming back up. So I'm going to remove the top level just because the bottom has shown that it has been a little bit more resilient. Now, just like the Aussie yen, this one also has a level of basing. It's not the best level, right? It's not the best level, but we're there as well. I mean, here's Aussie yen at a level, right? We've kind of hit it. Euro yen also at a very, very similar level. If you see yen strength in both, then you should see the same exact trade setup. Of the two, I kind of like it better in the Aussie, but it's the same trade setup, right? It's the same trade setup. Uh, there we go. I was like, wait, I don't want to do that. And again, 1 to 3 is right here, right? 1 to 3 is just beyond where your target should be, right? So I mean, it's the same trade. And this one's already halfway through, so it should start following suit rather soon. Euro dollar. So we were looking for the euro dollar. We wanted to start Sunday all the way down here at 109.04. Unfortunately, it just started to trend sideways through, so it didn't really give us the grind that we were looking for. I was really hoping we were going to get that grind. I was actually really excited about this one to start off the week. Obviously, the European deal, it helped, right? It helped bring some strength back in. Now it's kind of the same story. Again, we're starting to have these grinds up top, and the question is, are we in a new channel now? Right? Are we going to start this new channel? Can we get all the way down there today? I mean, that's 70 pips. It's going to take, wow. It's going to take something major to go 70 pips on a Friday. Not to say that it can happen. Um, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Pal makes a headline and says, yeah, we could do that. It's possible, right? It's possible we get a headline about raising 50 and that brings a whole lot of U.S. strength in. It's possible that, even though it's later in the day, it's possible, right? That maybe we get a headline from the Ukraine that really kind of tanks, what's it called? It tanks the European currency, right? The euro. But for the most part, I would say it's probably not as probable as what we'd like. Maybe there's some really really bad news this weekend, or maybe some really good news for the U.S. and we do get all the way down. But I still am looking for this 109.40. It's kind of what my target is to the downside. Now, we did talk about this level up top that if we could rise up, we did have sellers in this area. It looks like, let me see. Let's see, that is 103.72, and 103.72 is right there. Yeah, it looks like it found those sellers kind of on an aggressive stance. Um, it needed to go a little bit higher. Unfortunately, at midnight, it kind of turned and rolled. So, yeah, I would say right now, this is probably a level to watch out for as well on Sunday night, right? The 110.40. Um, it's potential. Let me see. How much does it need to move during the day? It needs to move about 36 pips. We can get up there. If we close up there, then yeah, I'd be looking to take this one short over the weekend. Or not over the weekend, but Sunday night on the open, I'd look for a short down. I still like the long better, but again, it's up there. It's been proven. It's got to go just a little bit further to mess with these sellers. So yeah, 110.40. Pound. So pound yen looks just like the Aussie yen and the Euro yen. We're pushing up into a level of basing. Obviously, this one is gave us we had to extend our fib a little bit more. Um, and again, it kind of came down. People were like, "Oh, look, it hit the 23." It did, but it sliced, and it really kind of came down to where the target was anyway. Um, Same trade setup, not no different, right? Aussie yen, Euro yen, pound yen, all the same thing, right? Aussie yen, Euro yen, pound yen. We'll throw this on here in case you guys want to see it, but it's the same trade. In reality, I would actually probably put this one a little bit higher. there's where it needs to be. So it not quite hit. Um, but same trade. Again, don't take three of the same trades. Yeah, exactly where it should be. There's where your profit target should be. It just happens to coincide with 1 and 3. So same base trade. Pound yen or pound dollar. Basically just channeling. We talked about a level up at the 23.6. We kind of missed it, right? That we just missed it. Um, Unfortunately, this is what is this one moved in 24 hours? 39 up, but wait, actually, sorry, 16 pips in 24 hours. Yeah, it's just. I mean, we were sitting where here yesterday. We're in basically in the same spot. So haven't been able to get an entry either way. Sideways. I would like to get out of this channel, right? I'm hoping that something happens in the next 3 days that we can start off the weekend somewhere outside of this channel. Um, we could use this, at 132.28. You could use it Sunday night if we're able to grind up there. 45 pips. So yeah, it absolutely can go there, right? And then obviously a turn and roll back down, and we're looking at these levels down here. The 131.25, 131.05 is two potential areas for longs. Maybe we get it early in the week next week. So, but Monday is also slow. Dollar CAD, continuing to grind, and here we are. We're so close, guys. We're so close. Yesterday we talked about how we got down. Actually, yesterday we were sitting right here, right at this 9 o'clock, 10:30, and we were talking about 125 was still in the cards for the week. We got down to 125.09, so I missed it by 9 pips. Right now we're sitting at 125.18. Okay, we're close. I may have to say that I'm wrong, but we're getting really, really close. We're 19 pips from the downside. Found a couple buyers down there, but we'll see if again we're able to get the continued effect. Again, I think 125 was kind of the goal all week, and man, it took a while. We had some, a little bit of a pullback, right? And then all of a sudden yesterday at really about 10 o'clock is when this one started to kind of go. And 10:30 is where we dropped, and it reversed right at that 10:30, 11 o'clock candle. Kind of getting there right now, so I'm hoping we don't flip up. I really want to be like, yep, told you 25, and we're close. So 25, I'd like to see some stabilization on 25. I think we have some dollar strength coming in next week with 25, so just keep that on your radar. But obviously on a Friday, we're probably going to run out of steam before we can do much with it. But look for that magical number. Again, 125 is a big deal. Dollar Swiss, continuing to see this grinding down. We talked about a level we weren't really interested in much. Unfortunately, we didn't get a Harry Potter trade out of it. But we had talked about how we had seen it chop through here, here, and here. We expected it to break. It gave us the base in there. So, I mean, could you have taken this one as it left the area? You could have, sure. I mean, it had given us enough opportunity, and as soon as that base, you're like, yeah, it's going to break. Didn't give us the confirmation entry we'd have liked to the downside. It's pulling back to that level right now. So we'll see what we can get. I wouldn't necessarily take this again. The Swiss it's done for the week, and again, I don't know that we're gonna unless we get a major headline. I don't think we're gonna get much more out of the dollar this week. I think it'll be more of a next week type thing, and as I said, we got some time. I think dollar strength comes back in next week, so I think we start to push higher, and again. Um, Levels I'd look for is the 93.71, as well as again, we've had to push off of it, the 93.43. It would be a second hit, and it went about halfway through on news, so we'll see what we get. Dollar yen, obviously same thing. I mean, again, I've drawn this 3 times already. This is what it looks like, right? Again, a little bit deep, right? A little bit deep. Profit target should be right there. So a little bit deep in it, but it's the same trade, same thing. You had to get this one right at the open today at 9:30. So I like it probably least on the dollar yen, but they're all the same trade. It's kind of retracing the yen a bit. Crypto is actually not having a bad day today. And again, we pull back up. We hit 45,000. 45,000, obviously large psychological number. 3 zeros at the end, always a big deal. Got higher, and again, I think it's justified. You know, reason why is now that the U.S. is going after gold, right? They're trying to do all these things. It's kind of like, oh, well, that used to be the safe way to do things, but heck, if you're going to lump Bitcoin in with gold, then sure, right? So gives us some credibility, and I think it's justified to be up here right now. I will say I want to see what some of the digital currencies and regulations look like. There was a lot of comments this week, but then nothing. We heard 3 days of Yeah, we need to regulate them. It's important. And then nothing. So it's like, oh, okay, that was it. You just gave us some lip service. Sure, great. Um, but we'll see if we can get a new, a new kind of level to base and sell off of next week. Ethereum also up 2%. Looks exactly the same. This one's actually already peaked. Um, the way that it's looking right now with this descending top, I wouldn't be surprised if this one kind of creeps back down before the weekend. Gets back down into this 31.40, maybe even 31.20 before the end of the day. Dogecoin flat but falling down 1.12, back down to that 13 and a half. I know James is all over this one. Obviously lower highs, so watch out for it. Bonds also not taking it well today. And again, seeing the indices, actually the indices are kind of mixed, two up, two down. You know, cryptos is kind of risk on, bonds is kind of risk off, right? Take it off before the weekend. People are like trying to sell, get out of them. It's an interesting play. I'm kind of surprised that they're not holding a little bit better today, but I love it. The news for today is August the 15th, the 16th, so not relevant anymore. But yeah, interest rates rising, not good for bonds. So TLT, and again, I mentioned about traditional option strategies. TLT is one of those ones as well that you can do traditional options off of. So different strategies that you can do with it. It's actually a very popular one. Unfortunately, again, when you look at the markets, you talk wealth management and things. Bonds is really the hard thing for individual investors to be able to get into their portfolios. They're extremely important. I mean, bonds are very important. They control so much of the market that people don't know about. Unfortunately, access to them, being able to get into them. I mean, there is so many bonds. It's ridiculous. Um, so many bonds right out there in the market. The reality is most people don't have any access to them without going through traditional advisors, and those create all their own problems. So, but something like TLT using an ETF to be able to get into bonds is a pretty decent way to do things. So there's that. Um, I'd say TLT is one of the most popular. There's other ones too, but TLT is obviously the most popular. So let's go across and look at oil real quick. Oil choppy back and forth. I think that I mentioned this earlier. Obviously, the 108.30 to 107.10 is an area we've seen buyers step in the past. Yellen making comments that things could go higher. I wouldn't really say that oil really has a direction right now. As I said, it's grinding more lower. And again, if we want to do a parallel channel and we're going to draw the top side here, right? Again, there's plenty of touches there, and then we bring it down. Magically, we have the same touches on the bottom side. So, is oil going to keep grinding lower? I think that it can. I mean, we're at 110. It's not like I can say that oil is cheap right now, right? Um, is oil expensive? I mean, compared to what we've had recently at 130, no, it is not expensive, right? And you can see right now we're grinding down, but we're just below where that 50% retracement was from the big push. We ended up needing the 61.8 to kind of turn it around. Right now, the question is, can we get all the way back down to the 23, which happens to be this 103 level? So, you know, we have definitely had buyers stepping in around this level. So we're not far from it right now. That would be a drop of about another $2. It is Friday. There's no headlines. I don't know if we're going to magically drop $2. That would put us down $2.90 today. You know, the ATR on the daily, let's see, is currently $7, but if you remove the current spike, it's closer to 290. So could it drop, another $2 today? It could, right? It could, and it would still be within the range of what normal is. Question is, are these sellers up top? Are we going to maintain the top of this channel? But I'd say overall, right now, with lack of any headline, I'd say, yeah. I mean, being bearish oil today is probably not a bad thing, right? Remember that the market does close a little bit earlier for oil than the indices, so yeah, it's there. But obviously, all the news is natural gas today. But natural gas has gone up and actually found. You can see it. We're kind of stuck there right now. We found this group just a bit higher. The 552. Question is the story over now? Like, are we going to start seeing a sell in this one? I think so. I kind of read the article for Nadex, basically talking about how we can't replace Russia. It's a great headline. You can say all the great things that I did. Well, we said we were going to help them become energy independent. Well, great, but we can't really do much. So it's a headline, but you know, we can't do much. I'm going to leave it at that. So yeah. Why do markets bother closing for the weekends? I feel like that infringes upon my First Amendment rights. I mean, First Amendment is kind of like freedom of speech. What do you mean freedom of speech? Right? Ernest, I feel as talented as you are, right? I feel like it's more of an infringement upon your Second Amendment right? Right? I mean, think about it. With your knowledge, Ernest, could we not consider your brain? Isn't the market being closed? Keeping you from your right to bear arms, right? Is your mind not a weapon, right? I feel like it's more that, right? Right? A well-educated mind is a weapon, right? It's, it's infringing upon your Second Amendment right to bear arms, right? I feel like that's more along the lines of what it is. So, but anyway, yeah, I think natural gas is probably a short going into next week. And remember, the initial hike in this earlier this week was because we were going to have unseasonably cold weather. It was going to end on Monday. Um, Obviously, we don't have a blizzard this weekend. It's kind of like, oh, maybe we don't need to have natural gas this high. I mean, we can't produce more. And like I said, when you dive into the natural gas thing, we have contracts. Are we going to literally break contracts to send it towards rich people? I feel like that's setting up a really, really bad precedent. Yeah, I don't think politicians are looking at that one going, could this blow back on us? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, gold obviously pulling back. We'd formed a new high, kind of in the overnight, late night. Europeans have kind of driven it back down. I would say, you know, really looking for 1938 is an area where we could have some potential buying. I mean, there's obviously buyers that stepped in here. That's exactly what they did here. But again, we're starting to kind of trend back down again. We're down 0.33, so not really much, a third of a percent. Um, I'm curious to see what this 1938 does, particularly over the weekend. Do we follow with a 1910? We start talking about zero point 0.5 rate increases, then yes, the answer is yes, we will get there. But right now, again, this market closes early on Fridays as well. I think I think action will start to dry up again, being a Friday. Um, yeah, so we'll see. I wouldn't be trading gold for the rest of today. We just don't have enough time for it. All right. Silver. Silver taking a big hop, kind of the same thing. I drew this, talking about, hey, listen, we need to get some type of a confirmation of this. We didn't get it yesterday. I mean, you could have taken this, remember my drawing with crayons? Um, there's your official triangle. So if you'd waited for the actual entry, there's your entry. You guys would be out right now, right? They're there. And 1 to 3 is actually only right there. So it didn't take very, very long. But kind of an extended triangle. We're really looking to, trying to figure out how to play this parabolic move. And again, it chopped through. It ended up punching just a little bit higher. It actually grabbed the sellers here, right? That's the sellers that need, again, aggressive. When they're level on top of a level, you typically hit the farther one. So either way, you could have taken it in this little level right here, right? Either one of these entries would have worked fine, right? Or you could have taken it over here from yesterday, and 1 to 3 was right there. So either way, you're out. Doesn't really matter. If you took the aggressive entry, you got your confirmation, or you took the top one. Either one is out. But like I said, we're calling for a short in this one. Um, the the drawing with crayons was just the triangle. So I think this one it's going to continue to fall today. I think silver. Not that I would get into it now because of how long it is, but I mean, I was going to say that if I had to draw two profit targets, there would be my two profit targets, and one just got hit. So second one, 2509. So 2509 for silver. All right, let's look at the indices. It looks like the indices are quite choppy today. So let's see if we would have got any opening prints. 930 is here. No, that would not have entered. That would not have been an entry today. It was grinding higher. And again, we did have a pullback. So again, you would have been looking for longs, but I would have probably wanted to wait until we were down in this level. We didn't get the entry before it went higher. We do have an alert sitting right above. Oh, that's an old alert. That was from this old Harry Potter over here. So we can delete it now. It's not. It was not even active. So. mm, Let's see. Looks like we did have one right there. Looks like we have a little level here, little hiccup, and then we got a couple kind of. See if I can see that. We can. It's only a wick though. All right, so it looks like we got a little room to run. A little more room to run. So yeah, again, we're not quite up there yet. We're seeing a bit of a spike now, 10:15. Probably there's probably a headline, but I'd say 45.40 to 45.48 is probably an area where we're going to see some sellers kind of step in. Let's see. Did we get a? Let's see. Um, oh, consumer sentiment dropped a little bit. Uh, oh, here you go. Let's see. Breaking news: Russian negotiator says no progress on main political issues with the Ukraine. Wants a comprehensive deal with whole range of positions, without which coming to an agreement is unlikely. Okay. I love the translation sometimes get a little bit hard, right? Russian negotiator at talks with Ukraine says Russia wants comprehensive deal with whole range of positions, without which to agreement is unlikely. Hmm. Yeah, and I think the main political. I mean, remember, like I said, I'm not in. This is the only thing we've heard from the Ukraine. I mean, obviously the peace talks still happening. People are like, oh, they are having peace talks. That's amazing. Again, I think the main political thing was still not joining NATO, and I know we heard data about that earlier. Says could lead to crisis and failed payments. Okay, yeah, so that's the only thing. So yeah, I mean, I think the mention of peace deal is like, oh, that's good, that's great, peace, love peace. Um, But I think we have some issues up here at 45.40. We'll see. We're a little bit early for a 10:30 reversal, but it doesn't mean it can't come in at 11 today. Again, at least that's a headline that gives us something. Um, Question is, are we going to roll it at 10:25? So it's close. It's close. NQ. NQ is negative. Let's see. The 9:30 candle. Maybe. I mean, this is one where you could say, well, wait a second. There you go. I'm in a long right now, right? You're definitely not out of the position. It has not been stopped out yet. It kind of 9:30 kind of peaked in and it was positive and it's kind of chopped a little bit. So this one is still kind of you could say yeah we pulled back to an area of basing, right? So this is where you're at with it right now. Has not been stopped. 1 to 3 is there, a little bit above, right? A little bit high. So yeah maybe. So thus far out of the two, one of them would have been triggered at the open. And again, quite choppy back and forth. You're probably getting a little nervous, although it's straight down, so 10:30 is not bad. So maybe 1 and 1. Um this one not I don't think you would have got into. No. It pulled down, but if I was gonna draw the zone on this one, I would have drawn it right here. And that that would have been a pipette gang. Look at that. Did not get it. There's your 9:30 candle. It was close. It sucks because that one went all the way through. It was close. Yeah, I mean, maybe on your broker, maybe this touched, but look at that. There's your base. There's your drop in pre-market hours. 9:15 slammed us right in, and we just it. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can we see it on yours? Um, yeah, right there. Look at that. Look how much that missed by. So unfortunately, that one cannot be added in. Maybe if you have a good broker, maybe if your broker kind of priced this one just a little bit differently, you're good. But yeah, yeah. Sucks because that's a nice little run in a very short period of time. So we finally broke through the top, and again, we'd hit this multiple times. So that's kind of good. So we can erase it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this old one we had from earlier in the week. This may actually be a bounce level, so we'll keep it. Let me delete some of these other things that we have in here. We don't need this. We don't need this. We're going to leave that. All right, so here we go. So now let's roll our fibs the opposite direction because we broke through the top finally. Looks like right now the 50, it's kind of there, but it's still right around that 34,000 number. I'm gonna leave that right there. 34,500. So yeah, but man, such a close miss. Let's see, what do we got higher? No, we got some levels over here. Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff over here. And again, these aren't going to match up because I'm on a 30 right now, but I'm just trying to get Find our clean levels. Actually, I'm gonna have to drop it to a 15. There. Oh, I hate this big wick on this one. Curious to see what happens there, though. All right, let's bring this across. Let's see where there's a potential end or where there's going to be some hiccups. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so again, getting up to a level here. This red level right here, you can see we kind of pushed up and if, or they're starting to pull back already. In looking at that level, you can see that the two other times the price has been here, it had a very strong reaction. Now, this is hit number 3, so keep that in mind. But this first little base here, nice push, right? Nice push, very strong push. So it's definitely a level where we've had some issues. Is it the best defined area over here? Not really, and we had to use some of the different candles. There's a bit of a gap in there, so it's definitely an area that we're going to need a buffer in. But I'd say, without a doubt, this is an area where we've definitely had some issues. So, um, yeah, I keep that in mind. Again, if we can get a topping pattern in here, something along these lines, right? It could be. I definitely think it could be a short. Um, but we need to see a good confirmation candle. We need to see basically this. If we can get this spike up and then a red candle like that, that would be great. It's not happening right now, but something like that where we could draw like a defined kind of peak and then base, that confirmation down could be a nice little short opportunity. So, it could be. I mean, I'm gonna draw it like like this right now. I mean, I don't. This is just drawing it, but um, we're through that level. If we get a base here, this could be a short, or potentially it may come up and grab this level a bit higher. But um, I would say, yeah, look for YM for a potential reversal. This may not be bad. May not be bad at all. Let's see what Russell's doing. Yeah, Russell's just chopping back and forth. Russell 930 candle was down. Um, this would have been hard because you have really the bases there. So maybe again, Nadex trade you'd be long. Futures you would have been stopped, but it's hard because you got this area right here. So that would have been a hard one to draw, especially because if you did it from this red, you got this deep, you got this deep, you got this deep, you expect it not to hold. We go one lower into here. Oops. I'm trying to get it so you guys can see it. There you go. If you use this level here, again, rally, base sideways, up, and a test. Front run, which is fine. That's kind of more the level here. You did hit. This one would be out already for a long position. Oops. I think. Hold on. One, two. Yeah, 1 to 3, you're out. Right. It's there. So you can see that this one is out. So arguably 1 out of 2. I'm sorry, 2 out of 4, right? Is that would have triggered. This one you would have to do a little bit more kind of analysis. And again, you had your 3 touches at the original level. Again, typically not the best thing you want to do. Looking at the next level lower, which would have been the red candle, kind of the doji candle here. Again, throw sheet 3 front runs. Ideally, you don't want that many, but again, that was from this level, and that's what it took at the opening candle. So it was actually very small risk on it. Um, so 2 out of 4 is what you should have traded on these this morning. Um, Not horrible. Let me see what Apple's doing. Apple's running up to that 175 number, having some issues. So again, that could absolutely turn and roll. Tesla again, pretty much dead sideways. Yeah, and I would say Tesla's probably more set for a short. So yeah, with everything being in the green, I say watch YM for a potential short. Yes, probably the same thing as well. Double checking that I heard it correctly. Did you say that TLT is an ETF and that is a good way to get access to bonds for retail investors? Yes, that's correct, Carol. Yeah, because a lot of bonds you have to go through like a bond seller, which brings you back into the investment realm. It's very hard to access bonds yourself because there's so many because there's issuers of bonds and they work with the big financial institutions. Like it's amazing how many bonds are out. I mean, there's bonds for everything. So there's not like an easy way for a retail trader to get into it. But here, so it's let's see, bond. Probably the easiest ones. Let's see. Trying to go just to the EU. The spiders probably. Yeah, United States. Yeah, ETFs. Yep. Except the cookies were good. Trying to see if I could find a little one. Mm, oh, this is not giving me the actual bonds. I was like, come on, not that. Let's see. Let's see. Trying to see ones that are good. There's the bond aggregate is okay. Um, yeah, TLT is probably one of the most popular. Um, IEF people use not as much. Hold on, let me go back here. Let's see. Trying to give you the right list. Let's see. Not Pinko. Um, yeah, Tips is another one that people use a lot. That was. Let's see. Tips was another one. Let's see. The other ones that you could use that are not bad. I would not use the emerging market one. Trying to see based off the volume right now which other ones are good. Probably those two, right? Muni ones I wouldn't touch. There's the EMB, the emerging market ones, is one that you can use. That's a JP Morgan. It's an iShares JP Morgan one. Um, that's one that you can get exposure as well. I've never personally traded that one, but that's one that meets it as well that you could do. Optimize, no, definitely wouldn't do that one. TLT, and then let's see. That doesn't have the volume for you. No. Corporate one, it's under. A lot of these have changed since I did much with these. Yeah, you'll hear people say the AGG also. That's another one that you could use as well. But I think TLT is probably the best one. Um, let's see. Yeah, TLT it definitely has the most total assets, so it's a very very big one. Um, there's the short duration ones too. SHY, the iShares 1 to 3 Treasury yield bonds. That's a 21,000. That's a 21. Um, I guess 4 million, right? Average volume. Yeah, it's huge volume. Um, there is the I would stay away. So there's the HYG also. That's the high yield corporate bond. I would probably stay away with that one. I think the Treasury ones make the best ones. So like TLT is going to be the biggest with 21 million average volume. That's a big one. IEF is a 7 to 10 year one. Is another one that is decent. Has significant volume that you can trade. That's not bad. The corporate ones are going to be a bit funky, and then the AGG comes up there as well as another one. Tip is another one. Also, it's about almost 7 million volume, and then Shy is the shorter duration contracts. I guess iShares that's investment grade corporate. I just want to stay away from that one. So yeah, they're out there. I mean, bond any of the bond ETFs is not something if you look at it right now, they're all down. And the reason why is because of rising interest rates. So it's not something that you necessarily when you want bond exposure, great, but you got to understand the relationship with the interest rates and bonds. With interest rates getting ready to rise, these are all going to go down. So, it's kind of like if you want them for your portfolio, great, but understand that they are going to go down in value. I mean, there are ways to take advantage of that. Um, so, uh, tips, yeah, that's their symbols. So those are their symbols. So All right. With that said, it's 10:38. We're a little bit late today. Let's go ahead and do. Actually, shouldn't have been late today. I have so much to do today. Let's go and do the draw. So Ernest won yesterday, right? Ernest is in with 2. He's going for 100. You guys are being nice to him today. Let's see. Who we're missing. I feel like we're missing some people today. Okay, Sean's here. Okay, we got Sean. We got Will. We got Ernest. We got Neuro. All right, there. I was like, wait, we're missing Debbie. Debbie's there. Marina's there. Carol's there. Icky's there. All right, maybe we're not. I feel like we're missing somebody though. All right, so let's close it down. All right, here we go. Winner of today's drawing is Debbie's like, oh, Debbie tried to get in late yesterday too, but it's all right. Winner of today's drawing is Mr. N. The bad guy ends the week, Mr. Neuro. All right, let's give Neuro his 25. Where's Neuro? Neuro is on. He's chasing Ernest. He's got a Neuro. Actually, I will say, Neuro, you've been. Will has like really picked it up this year. Will has really been going crazy. Ernest has been, consistent, right? Because he win. He pays the win, right? You haven't been that lucky this year. You've been spending, but haven't been necessarily as lucky as you were in the past. I feel like whatever you did, you got some bad juju or something, right? I feel like see, is there not any more headlines? Sterling edges the pound out, trades below. Oh, here you go. This is what we were looking for. A 50 basis point hike in May. Says he will watch. He's on a 50. Oh, there we go. If it's appropriate to raise at this meeting, I'll do it. You dummy. Given supply and demand imbalances, rates need to be moved steadily back to normal levels. Says he's very focused on thinking about real interest rates. So yes, he doesn't. He has a driver. He doesn't drive his own car because he wants normal interest rates. Rate is data dependent. So you see, he's making excuses why he wouldn't do 0.5, even though the data is technically screaming. So yeah, so these are the things what we needed for gold for the dollar. Let's see, what is the dollar doing? The dollar's like, wait, what? If appropriate, if appropriate, we'll do it, and it drops. So yeah, go Williams. So yeah, I love that. It's data dependent. We're very focused. I want to get him back, but if it's appropriate, like, what do you mean if it's appropriate, you dummy? We're at 40-year highs. So thank you, Mr. Williams. Sterling reports. Let me see what this one does, and then I'm gonna roll him. Yeah, it's pulling back down again. So, yep, pound strength coming back in. So, all right. With that said, I will catch you guys this weekend or on Monday. Again, if you guys want to, I, unfortunately, I won't be around at the Open on Sunday night. The boys have their first game, and their club game this weekend is at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock on Sunday. So I'm going to miss the Open on Sunday night. But look for some of those nice gaps. But there should be some this week. I'm sure we'll get some headlines. Not going to be as great as it was the last two. This one was actually kind of weak. But yeah, check it out. So I'll catch you guys on Monday morning. 8:45 a.m. for Nadex and then 9:30 for us. Same channels. You guys have a great weekend. If you need anything, shoot me a message on Discord. And thank you again for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.